Iita team. Just a short briefing. We met Iita in the year 2016, one of the meeting at the Ministry of Agriculture. When the Ministry of Agriculture were talking about the value addition in cassava. When I met them, I changed the card with one of the representatives. And when I went back to Tumutu, I decided to go on their website. I saw a lot of things that they've been doing, especially when it comes to youth empowerment and training. So I contacted them. I went to Cari, and up and down, we managed to get them to the ministry. We were still on 19th Street at that time. Just because the story short, we later had an MOU with them, even though the MOU will not be active on our side. Fortunately for us, after the innovation of the poultry, which was financed by the president himself through your office, FAO went on the campus there through one of our professional colleagues, and he said that this facility that they can really help and support us. They are funding, but they are not going to give the money to the ministry because of their past experience. And I asked them, what can we do? So I told them that we have a standing MOU with Iita, and the guy said, well, if you have MOU with Iita, you can pass through Iita to support the center. I informed my bosses at the ministry, the last minister, but we couldn't do anything until recently when FAO went back to tell us that time is running out. So we informed Iita, they did a project proposal which needs some fun and finishing touches. Their team came in on Sunday. We had a meeting at the ministry on Monday, and then when they visited the center. On Tuesday we had another meeting with the FAO team. FAO agreed in principle that they are going to support us to the tune of 500,000. So after the meeting, I deemed necessary that they have to, and that they should visit you. Take into consideration your support to over the past year. So that's why they are here this afternoon. Dr. Edet will introduce the rest of the team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I already told you Michael Edet, the scientist for cassava in Liberia.
Speak loud.
I am Dr. Michael Edet, Iita cassava scientist. Yes.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. My name is Ken Dashiel. I'm the Deputy Director General, Partnerships for Delivery, based in Ibadan, Nigeria for Iita.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, my name is Evelyn Ohamsi. I'm the interim head of the Youth and Agribusiness Office at the Institute, headquarters in Ibadan, Nigeria.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. I'm Awila Devasi by name, established specialist of the SAPEC project here in Iita.
Let me say thank you to Joe. He came to visit us a few days ago, and we're talking about what the prospects for the Tumutu Center was, and then he talked about the prospect of Iita and that you were actually in the country, and it was important for us to meet. So I want to say thank you for coming and engaging. That particular facility is so important to me. It's actually in my county of origin. That's where I was senator for the last 12 years. And we've been struggling to get the center opened. It took almost 4 years just to get it started. They've now been open for just a few months. I think we started in January with the lack of funding coming from the government and the need to have this as a robust agriculture program so important. So I think the relationship that is beginning between Tumutu and IITA is so very important at the right time. A lot of people want to attend but the facilities are small, and they've asked us to accommodate people from other counties, which is the best way. A facility cannot just host, the locals. So by the time they took out spaces for people from other parts of the country, I think the Bond County number was really small. So we're looking at enhancing the opportunities there, and maybe having a chance to build more dormitories and more classrooms so that we can accommodate more people. I don't know if you've been to see the site in Clay. I think the Clay site is a little bit bigger.
Smaller.
It's smaller, so our site is okay. Okay. And I think it will be a place to start. But let me say thank you and welcome, and thank you for your engagements. And maybe we can look at what some of the programs will be.
Tropical Agriculture, IITA, where I'm working. We are 50 years old. Our headquarters is in Ibadan, Nigeria. We have programs and stations in 15 countries in Africa. We only work in Africa. And of course, we are based here in Liberia also, in Bond County at Kari. And of course, that's where Michael and Luciru are based.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they live there, and that's where their offices are. Our youth program can work on any crop. It can work on any livestock or animal, anything related to agriculture. Our youth program can work with. And the Institute has a highly specialized research program in cassava, plantain and banana, maize, yam, cowpea, soybean, and cocoa. Our annual budget is about $120 million, and our focus is on helping the small-scale farmers. And of course, that's what all the farmers in Liberia are, or almost all. And our focus is we don't want them to be small-scale farmers who are just growing enough food for the family. We want them to become business-like farmers, farmers making a profit, making a good living, and farming using modern techniques. And we work on the whole value chain, not just the production, but the post-harvest, the processing, the packaging, the service providers, the input dealers, everything that's important in that agriculture value chain. I want to quickly introduce our youth program. Our youth program is 5 years old, and it's in my division. My division is called Partnerships for Delivery. So we're not the research people. We're the people working with the farmers, working with the processors, etc. And our focus is creating jobs for youth. It's all about having jobs, about having good income. And most of the youth are self-employed when they finish the program, whether they're farmers or they're setting up a processing business. So many different things they can do. And a few of the philosophies we have is our youth program is youth training youth. The head of our youth program is Evelyn, sitting next to me, who's obviously a youth. And so we find that's the way to move forward. She is the boss of that program. And when youth start their own business, then they employ other youth. Sometimes 3, 4, 5, sometimes even more. So a really multiplying effect of creating jobs. 50% women, 50% men. It's a rule. Yes, exactly. Now, as Joe has stated, we visited Tumutu. We were very impressed. It's a wonderful facility. It can be improved, of course, to make it a better learning environment, both the facilities but also the agriculture. Make it mechanized, all kind of things to make it really business for youth. So we're looking forward to working together with you, and we know that the FAO is requesting a letter from the Ministry of Youth and Sports to really get the thing moving forward. So we're really excited about that. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the work that Michael and Wasiu are doing. Michael is working with cassava production, and he is promoting and showing and demonstrating technologies that double, triple, even quadruple the cassava yield that farmers get. That's how you move farmers out of poverty into business. when they really get more and more productive. Wasiu is on the processing side, and you see these products demonstrated here. These are from products from one of the 6 cassava processing centers that him and his team built here in Liberia. And one of them is at Kari, and we see a harmonious relationship between that center and Tumutu. Youth can go there and get trained in how to make these cassava flours and these products. So, Your Excellency, thank you very much for giving me just a few minutes to introduce that. And I want to hand over to Evelyn, the boss of the youth program, who will give you more details about what we do with youth.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dashiwa. I think I would prefer to stand up to give my presentation. Firstly, Your Excellency, I would like to take the opportunity to congratulate you and the President and people of Liberia for a successful transition. I'm very happy because you're a lady and we look up to you, and then I hope to be like you someday. So let me take the opportunity to congratulate you on that. According to the program, I would run through a presentation on the Iita Youth Agripreneurs Program. In very few words, I'll try to explain to you our activities so far. I'll try to link it up with a Pan-African and wide initiative funded by the African Development Bank called the Enable Youth Program. I would also speak about the activities that we see happening in Tumutu and other centers around Liberia. This problem in Africa, and that's the issue of youth unemployment. And according to the Africa Agricultural Status Report of 2015, published by Agro and its partners, we were told that there are 364 million youths between the ages of 15 and 35, and by 2045, how this number is going to double. And then we know that youth every day enter the labor market looking for the best jobs and probably get disappointed along the line. And this often leads us to becoming marginalized, and some of us often are attracted to dangerous lifestyles and doing things that are not meant to be. And of course, solutions to this are actually required today, and not tomorrow is probably too late. At Iita, we are looking at promoting job creators rather than job seekers. And one avenue that has proved very, very efficient over time is agriculture, being the largest employer of labor across many economies in the world. So the program, the Iita Youth Agripreneurs, was started off in 2012 by the current Director General of the Institute, the President of Dr. Iita Sayinga. He's the one that pictured there when he visited our maize field when we just started the program. So this program was actually designed to direct unemployed youth. So we're looking at all categories of youth, whether you're a college graduate or non-college graduate, rural or the urban youth. And this is by directing us towards careers in modern agriculture and agribusiness. This was totally based on experiential learning, with pilot enterprises leading to us forming our own independent businesses. So we started off as one group. I was part of the initial group in 2012 where I received my training at the Institute. And over time, we were quickly recognized as a potent means to address youth empowerment. I will let you know more of that as we move ahead. Your Excellency, I'm pleased to inform you that this movement that started as 40 young people has grown to a network of over 300 in 6 countries in Africa. And today we are operating 13 groups and 36 learning enterprises. So we're not just looking at production, we're looking at processing, marketing, sales, ICT, communication, the transport system, logistics, and all in the agricultural sector. So these are just a few of the enterprises: cassava production, catfish farming, poultry production, using ICT to market some of our cultural products and the likes. We are drawn from diverse backgrounds. So, for example, for the starting group and the core group, we're speaking now about the graduate youth, where not everyone studied agriculture, but all are attracted to careers in agriculture and agribusiness. So even a lawyer having a role to play in the agricultural sector, helping us to formulate good policies that will enable young people to get engaged in agriculture. By drafting agreements, if I want to go into partnership to supplying maybe a very big retail outlet my produce, I need to engage a lawyer, otherwise the youth and check our records. So these are just few of the importance of young people who did not study agriculture in the sector. Well, since inception, I'm pleased to let you know that the agripreneurs have maintained a high level of gender balance with 48% women, and I'm also pleased to let you know that a large majority of us are interested in becoming self-employed. very few of us hold leadership position in administrative and support administratively in the institute. We don't want to go extinct, so we'll retain a few of us to continue to train other youths, build their capacities to be able to communicate with the external world, and then continue to monitor and evaluate our progress over time. And that's how we've been able to track how well we've been performing over the years. Just to give a few of my introduction and then move towards the end of my slides. To date, we have engaged in 36 agribusiness incubations. I've already spoken about that. We're expected to prepare winning business plans that will be funded by financial institutions, including the bank and possible angel investors. To date, we have 134 businesses initiated, mostly small and medium enterprises. Well, I won't dwell so much on this slide, but just to give you an idea of what we do when we speak about the agribusiness development model. So we're looking at the size or growth of these businesses against a particular time, because of course we have to measure how we're doing with the time. And we have two environments that we are looking at in time. So we have within Iita, or let me say across the incubation centers, and also the external business environment. This is what's going to actually drive us to become successful. So you are being trained, and then you design your product, you test, you're allowed to fail and make mistakes within the incubation program. Thereafter, you have to move out and move to the market. That's why you develop your business plan. You're able to access some resources to start up, be it grants, but we normally suggest no interest, and along the line you're able to access a loan when you have fine-tuned and you know all you need to know about your business. Just to let you know the recent funding that we granted some of the businesses, particularly in using Nigeria as a case study, where we have people coming together to form partnerships or even going solo to start up their businesses, and a brief of how much we are able to provide at the institute for this against expenditure in a space of 4 months that we studied this startup. It's a partnership of 3, and we were able to raise them with at least $5,000 to start their business, and they are into catfish processing, and we estimated their cost-benefit ratio based on what we had seen in a space of 4 months, not considering their capital cost and all of that. We're able to see that the business is very profitable on 1.5 returns. Trained, and we need to continue to empower other people, and that basically describes this slide, where we're able to liaise with other youth groups, exchange programs with other countries to see how we can move, using Iita's locations in various countries as our entry points to some of this country. And I'm optimistic that very soon we'll become very active in Liberia here. To date, over 2,000 youths have been trained, and according to our projection, over 70,000 will receive training. And just to give you a graph of where our trainings have really taken shape, using Nigeria, DR Congo, and just a few countries and then we've been able to publish our training manuals and all this, some of which I brought to present to you, Your Excellency. Yes, please. I did say we are going to train over 70,000 youths, and I began to wonder, where are these numbers coming from? So they are not imaginary numbers. We've been able to secure partnership with a couple of international agencies and even private sector, local within Nigeria, for example. That they've gone to a particular community in one of the worst regions in Nigeria, excuse my use of word. That's why we have the militants that do oil bunkering and the like. So we train them and help to change their mindset. It's very important to change the mindset of young people in agriculture. The Pan-African Enable Youth Program, I'll speak a lot about that. And then international donors, the MasterCard Foundation, in partnership with Michigan State University, looking at over 15,000 youths in 2 countries, Nigeria and Tanzania. So this was how I arrived at these numbers. Well, permit me to speak about the Enable program, which is empowering novel agribusiness-led employment for youth. And it is funded by the African Development Bank, and it operates at loans from the bank to the regional member countries. We have about 30 countries, African countries, that have signed to this program, and I'm very sure Liberia is one of them. We're privileged to have the Minister of Youth and Sports at the planning meeting in Abuja in 2016. And this program actually is looking at 4 basic components. One is looking at policies and the enabling environment to allow young people to survive in the harsh business world. Another is looking at building the capacities of young people, that is training. And then the third, which might probably be the highest weighted if I should categorize, because we're looking at financing for young people. And then the last being project management. And in the finance section, because it's not very easy to walk to the bank and get all you need. To let you know some of the countries where we operate, just a few, I had to select and drop some off. So I did say 30 countries have signed in, but IITA to date is providing technical assistance to a number of countries. So Liberia, we had expressed our intent to provide technical assistance, and we had sort of submitted for the pilot study. For some reasons, I do not know where it is sitting, or we're hoping to get an update at least before we leave Liberia, hopefully, to know where it's sitting in the Ministry of Agriculture to continue to support the program. Let me use Sudan as a case study. So IITA moved into Sudan and started off this Enable Youth program. And to date, we've been able to establish a strong office there, led by a strong lady, technical advisor based in Sudan. And we've started the recruitment of the trainees. So we're trying to multiply the effect of what we have in Nigeria and other countries where we operate. So this slide is basically going to help me to speak about the Tumutu Center and to see how this basically aligns with our 4 important new directions for the IITA Youth Agripreneur. So basically, we are reorganizing ourselves at headquarters now to become service-oriented, to provide training services and link up with other institutes to bring about the financial components and other necessary inputs to make the program successful. One of our key strengths is rehabilitating failing agricultural facilities for incubation. I'm going to give a case study on that and to get the kind of technical assistance they require. Then they will be able to reduce barely their own costs instead of calling here and there to get those services. We continue to move and request for technologies from various CGIR centers, one of which is IITA. So IITA has expertise in 6 commodities. We liaise with other CG centers, for example, African Rice, helping to bring about this training and opportunities for other local youths in the region. Next, please. Well, I'm specifically speaking about this because moving around, we've been made to understand that there are various scenarios for young people. And I'd just like to share 2 examples where we have identified as one of our strengths in working with people living with disabilities. So in 2016, we conducted a training in partnership with the Star Children Development Initiative. You can check out their website, where we're able to train 100 children and youths who are living with disability, and we continue to follow up with these people. Recently, we're exploring partnership with the Federal College of Education Special in Nigeria, and this is one of a kind because it's the first in Nigeria and probably the only in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, dealing with these categories of people living with disability. And we're working together to see how these technologies for the disabled will become, available all around, and this will basically give us a way forward on this. While I move towards the conclusion of my slide, you agree with me that empowering African youth towards self-employment is necessary for the transformation that we want in the agricultural sector, knowing fully well that the average age of farmers in sub-Saharan Africa is about 65 years, so we need to replace the farmers, and then we also need to create employment for young people, and that's one way we can see that. The model that I have just shared with you is seen as a success because we've had a lot of buying from partners at various levels, and this is leading to the expansion of the group. Another thing I want you to know is that the model is really dynamic, and we continue to accept criticisms as they come in, and then we don't impose when we go to work in countries or places. We try to adapt to the actual needs of where we are working, so that way we are able to stay relevant along the line. One reflection I will leave again is that funding some of these departing entrepreneurs upon completion of your training has become a constraint, and we are looking at corrective measures to see how this will take place. And so basically, to give some recommendations based on those reflections that we've had within our group, we believe that mentorship should be expanded beyond technical expertise. So we provide you with all the training. Sometimes we forget to include the financial services that will help young people to be able to walk to the bank and pitch the ideas that will yield funding. Last but not the least, alternative investments and loan mechanism must be actively pursued, and then this will require us linking to commercial and government lenders who will help these young people to be able to start up their business. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Could you tell us a little bit about the work with the disabled? You said something about working with
the provost and other principal officers of the college, and they were able to see that we will be able to adapt some of the machineries or technologies for the disabled. For example, we can see how they'll be able to make use of these products to produce value-added commodities like this. We also see a situation whereby we'll be able to make machineries that fabricate machineries in conjunction with the professors. So really it's a partnership with that college to see how we can work well together to do some of these things. We've trained some in the past, but now we're looking at, okay, if we keep training, then there are other things that they could get engaged in. So even we would be able to adapt some of these machines, or I would say, for example, they might not be able to use the weeders or the tractors that everyone has, but we should be able to adapt something that is friendly and usable by them. So that's one of our plans. So that's how we work for now, and over the next quarter, before the end of the quarter of 2018, first quarter, we should be able to have more detailed analysis of how we are working with people of that category.
So Joe, tell me a little bit about what the programs, if the partnership is concluded, what kinds of programs are you looking at Tumutu?
Young people that graduated from Tumutu, they are on their own. We don't do MIE. Become a challenge. And people always say that Liberian youths, they are not serious. I totally disagree with that. Even my last boss, the minister, sometimes he blame me that I'm giving them too much. As we speak, they form themselves into a group, like from Lofa, from Nimba, but the support is not there. And they keep calling because when they were there, we told them about the enable youth. So the partnership is not just about training them, the value addition, whereby the training will incorporate them to organize them into cooperative. The enable youth, maybe I can speak further on that. I think what has been, the document is over there. The Liberian government is involved. There is a letter from the former finance minister that was written for some amount of money. I think it's just about the new government to follow up on that. After training them, they're going to further into cooperative, give them some money like startup capital. And not only that, during the training, because it's about 18 months, they are saying that they are going to remodel it to fit into our system here. They'll give them a package, maybe $10, $15 just to buy their soup during the period that they'll be on the campus during the course of the training. Not only that, the training also will enable Tumutu, at least to some extent, to stand on their own. We spend close to about 7,500 on feeding monthly in Tumutu to feed the 200 a year. I remember Dr. Edet went there and he told me, he said, Joe, you can have 206 students here, and you people cannot feed yourself to some extent. But the good news is that even though during the graduation, we didn't come out to say that. When NGO was there, I served as a project logistics officer. We spent 2,200 every month on vegetable, pepper, bitter ball, and potato green. But the last 6 months, despite the challenges, we didn't buy pepper, we didn't buy no vegetable. And I told our minister about that. So we did that because of the little support that we had. And even the rice, I brought the one that we clean, we do it locally. To even clean it, we don't even have the machine. I carry it to the house. I don't know whether that was delivered, just to show what we are capable of doing. So all this is, incorporated in the training. So it's not just about training that you let them go. You keep encouraging them, like my sister here said that it's not just that people that into agriculture. There are other people organized there. Everybody has a role to play. So that's what we are looking at. And then when they saw the poultry, that's one of the facilities that can actually make us, even if we are generating from just to feed the generator, that is something. We also have a place there that can be used for natural fish pond. We have a place that we can construct artificial fish pond as well. Thereby, if we cannot even sell, at least the fish, we can use it to feed the student on the campus there. So that's how they are coming. And they come in, we don't want to just start everything at the same time because we like doing 3 crops. We want to look at 3 major areas, which is the vegetable, the rice, and the poultry with the pig grade. We want to look at that area to start, then keep expanding. And with the support that is coming from FAO, through now that Iita is coming, it's coming in, we believe that maybe the next 2-3 years, I think the government should be able to take to that. Okay, maybe we only give you small thing to operate. That's what we are looking at.
The problem here is that people are frustrated because they plant, there's no market, and the agribusiness it's not a new idea, but a lot of the farmers don't have access to the facilities that would create an environment where they can now sell and add value to what they're doing and encourage them to grow more. So I think the program that we'll be looking at, in addition to the regular normal programs they're running, is the end of it, so that there can be some value added. Because if you want someone to, like you said, a young people who want to do business and they want to create their own small cooperatives, I think this is the end result, which will actually provide long-term jobs. Because if you have a facility that can turn cassava, for example, into flour, I think that's the flour thing. It's simple, you know, you package it. This can be sold in the supermarkets, because it's the packaging too that is so important, that you can now turn it into flour and then sell it in the supermarket. See how this one looks nice? You put it in any supermarket, people will be able to buy it. So I think, you know, in addition to the normal things that Joe is talking about, if it would be possible to create, you know, the second phase where there are actually machines that can help turn some of these into finished products so that they can sell it. This will provide funds, but it will also increase the capacity of our young people to be able to stand on their own. Because it's one thing to go to school and learn how to plant vegetables. We're getting pepper from Guinea. So there's so much opportunities. The people who plant, by the time the food gets to the market, here in Red Light, for example, all of the food comes to Red Light. If you go to the market at the end of the day, you'll find how much is being wasted. Because the packaging, they just put the bags, the pepper together, and, you know, put the bags on top of each other. By the time it gets to the market, half of it is already spoiled. So that's another thing. How do we get the farmers to package their goods, even if you're bringing it to the market, so you get full value of what you've done? If you were sending 20 bags of pepper to the market, and by the time you get your money, you're only getting for 10 bags, and you already wasted a lot. You know, people can make pepper sauce, people can make dried pepper, you know. So we have to do it at the site so that, you know, it creates value, it creates additional job opportunities for our young people. So I'm happy that this kind of a partnership is starting, and I'm hoping that we will not just be doing general agriculture production, but we're actually moving into the entrepreneur programs that provide opportunities where they can actually process. You can imagine that kind of a facility that says, well, they will do flour from cassava and package it, and people can go and buy, or it can be sent to the supermarkets. Automatically, you know, the turnaround and the funding that it will provide for the young people, and maybe a percentage can go to the school, so that we're able to create a better environment. So I know you're talking about $500,000 project, and I think the time for the training too should be expanded. 6 months is a little too short, you know, for a lot of the young people who, you know, haven't learned anything. They were coming into the facilities for the first time, and the 6-month period is just a little short. And I think if it could be expanded to like a 9 or 12-month program that takes into consideration all of the steps, you know, the planting, the harvesting, the production and sales, so that people can have different points of interest that will increase the capacity at that place. That Tumutu training site is in the part of the county that is a little bit depressed. You know, you visit, you see there's nothing all around. So we're hoping that we can turn that into maybe a technical college, agribusiness technical college or something like that, so that more people will have access. So I want to say thank you for coming and visiting with us. I think the documents and the letter that should come from the Ministry of Youth and Sports, there's a new minister who's been appointed. We're hoping this coming week we'll have them confirmed. So they actually now have the authority to write those letters. So hopefully it wouldn't take too long to get those letters done, so we can begin to work and see what the next phase of the work would be. Because truthfully, I know you've been here for a few days, you know how many young people are just loitering around. And if we can make this as a pilot project that becomes successful, then we can try to replicate it even in some of the urban cities. Some of the machines are small. Set it up somewhere There's a young man called, you know the boy who's doing the J-Palm? That's his name? I keep forgetting. You know the J-Palm boy?
Mahmoud Johnson.
Okay, his name is Mahmoud Johnson. You've met him?
Yes, sir.
I haven't gone to visit his site yet. I think I need to go and take a look there. But I think he's someone who's just taking a simple palm kernel, you know, the nuts from the palm, and is creating creams and oils, and he's actually shipping it out of the country. You know, so even I think he's looking for additional money to expand what he's doing, but he's such a good example of what the young people can do. I mean, in different aspects of the agriculture business sector. So I think this is a very, 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 very good project. I'm looking forward to continue working with Tumu to see how we can do the value end chain to provide additional funding and to give capacity to our young people.
Down to the dry form, and that is what we have here today as the powder form. Very easy. Within 3-4 minutes, you have your fufu in the paste, and you can take the palaba sauce and all of that so that you want to take the fufu. Because I like palaba sauce. That is very nice.